Now that the storytelling is cranking up speed, WandaVision's focus on the sitcom gadget is shrinking each week. We are finding out simultaneously what happens outside and also witness firsthand what our captives in the hex are learning. This way, most of our theories are voided on a weekly basis, forcing us to come up with new ones. Hi there, it's Micha. Let's dive in together and knit a new web of feasible theories. Let's start with an epiphany I had this week, not around the show but around my review videos. With the story details each episode becoming more relevant, my plot recap was growing like crazy. While a proper synopsis is key for a great movie review or for a season of a TV show, which some people will not have seen at that point, spoiler-filled reviews like this one, weekly focusing on new theories, don't require detailed summaries, as everyone watching is familiar with the episode. Wow, what an insight, right? You likely figured that out before I did. Better late than never, but still, let me know in the comments if you agree with this assessment. As usual, with me not being an expert on Marvel comics, I will concentrate on the MCU perspective of things and look up some Easter eggs and theories online to share with you, as long as these are not obvious spoilers. Here we go again. This week's plot in a nutshell. It's Halloween in Westview and Wanda and her brother entertain the kids. Outside, Darcy, Jimmy and Monica are being kicked out of the military installation for being too protective of Wanda. Instead of leaving, Darcy hides and hacks into Director Hayward's network, while the others leave to pick up the vehicle from Monica's astrophysicist friend, which should, theoretically, allow them to pass through the barrier unchanged. Darcy gets caught trying to help Vision, who crossed through the dividing wall, painfully falling to pieces. Informed about this by her son Billy, who just discovered his telepathic abilities, Wanda rescues Vision by moving, or growing, the protective field to encircle Vision, and with him a handcuffed Darcy and the whole Sword Station, transforming it into a literal circus. Only Director Hayward's car can escape. Again, a nice episode that clearly shows the shift away from the sitcom setup. We only have a short nod to it by way of the title sequence and the trope of the twins talking directly into the camera, Malcolm in the Middle style. Following the setup of previous episodes, we should now be in the 90s, but if so, it is the late 90s, indicated by the TV sets and console games they play, which more likely suggests the early 2000s. Maybe they also don't stick to the 1 decade per episode dogma anymore, as we are getting closer to the finale and the solution of all mysteries. The picture quality for scenes inside the bubble is also almost at HD level, indicating the same. This week the twins are more in the show's focus, as they are around the age of puberty, perfect to introduce their powers, same as in the comics. Speed for Tommy, like Pietro, and telepathy and mind powers for Billy, like Mom. As we haven't seen other kids until now, as highlighted by Vision last week, the streets are now full of them. The show addresses this by having Pietro talk to Wanda about it, which seems to reveal she really controls everyone and had the kids just safely stored away. Pietro is impressed instead of shocked. Interesting fact though, Wanda asks him question to test if he really is her brother, for which she calls her out, but never answers them. They further discuss that everyone in town received a personality close to their original one to make it less painful and intrusive, while mostly even bettering each individual's financials and job situation, which Wanda doesn't deny. So yes, she seems to be controlling everyone, or at least thinks that. But she again says this week she doesn't remember how it all began. She just remembers a feeling of utter loneliness and endless nothingness. Maybe indicating a period of her mind being controlled as well? What also rubs me the wrong way is that neighbors like Herb break the facade and directly ask Wanda if everything is fine or if something needs to change, in a very friendly tone, while others under mind control seem to be in pain. Therefore, I still believe that there is another entity that at least controlled Wanda previously and now, with her gaining more and more of her control back, tries to make sure she is comfortable and keeps her force field up and running. Maybe Wanda controls the bulk of a town, while that other being controls key personnel around her, like Herb and her brother, to keep her complacent. Pietro even confronts Wanda by saying his task was to distract Vision, help with the kids, and ultimately cause Wanda grief. That was what Wanda wanted, right? That doesn't feel like a case of her subconscious creating things. This feels like there is a third party at play. Also, we see that on the outskirts of town, the people are immobile, caught in simple loops and indicated by a tear on a woman's face, aware of it. Wanda said before she can't control everyone, which she doesn't, but would she then really just have them be trapped in immobility? She is aware of the borders hinted at by her saying the kids shall not cross Alice Avenue, the place where Agnes was stranded in her car, the city limits no one is allowed to cross. And Agnes even says Wanda would not allow anyone to even think of leaving. But that still might be a red herring. Agnes could be the other being, just lying through her teeth, but in that moment at least she seemed to be authentic, not faking it, making me doubt that Agnes really is the puppeteer. But you never know. On the other hand, Sword being unable to identify her and planting allusions to Agatha Harkness in the show might have been the red herring, and in the end, Agnes could end up just being one of her neighbors. But back to the force field. Why even create a large space Wanda can't control? Which makes me double down that it was not her idea or decision to create the field to begin with. She likely created it under influence of someone or something else, or only took control of it. Last episode's color change of a barrier to scarlet signals us that she at least is in control now. And her moving the bubble this week erases any doubt about it. Another question that was updated is the Schrödinger situation around Vision. Is he dead or alive?
Am I dead?
No. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Agnes's reaction, calling Vision dead, was just stating a fact she believes to be true. But Hayward tracking the signature of decaying vibranium seems to be clearer. If he is still decaying, he must still be dead, but at the same time conscious and acting alive, even without any memory of him being an Avenger.
You're one of the Avengers. Are you here to help us?
Or what an Avenger is for that matter. That revived the theory I had a few weeks ago. What if Wanda needs to keep up the barrier for a certain amount of time to make sure Vision stays alive, or him being alive becoming reality? If everything going in needs to change to the decade they celebrate inside, maybe Vision can't leave until the time inside aligns with the outside world? Maybe he and his technology can only leave then, allowing him to stay alive. Under this premise, we might even think that the Force trying to control Wanda might be benevolent, helping her bringing Vision back. By the way, Hayward tracking Vision also implicates him as being the dirtbag we expect him to be, as he seems to be only interested in Vision's technology, continuing the dissecting work Wanda interrupted by taking Vision's body. Another theory I am not abandoning yet, even building on it, I still believe that there is a dimensional rift in Westview. Maybe trying to contain it started it all, a rift between us and the Earth on which the X-Men exist, bringing them into the MCU. Maybe that is bringing on the cosmic radiation, and the being using Wanda, for good or bad reasons, is from that world. Maybe that is the witness Jimmy is looking for. Something that yet still is unresolved and almost dropped from our attention, though that witness will likely turn out to be very important. In any case, passing through the barrier rewrites living cells on a molecular level, something likely being done by the field, not by Wanda, leaving both possibilities open. That Wanda created the field or just took over control. Monica is already changing, called out by Darcy and by the strange X-ray last week. So building on this, I think that everyone passing through the barrier may be changed into a potential future superhero or villain. Likely getting mutant powers, as theories say the twins are the first real mutants in the MCU. Maybe we end up with a whole town of mutants. Westview as ground zero for MCU's mutant population on our main Earth. I just hope that if Monica's contact really is Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, he doesn't show up with a team and they get their powers from the Hex. That should happen in space, and in their designated movie. I wouldn't oppose to introduction of his character though.
It's full of surprises.
Some random observations. It is now visually confirmed from a map and in front of the anomaly that it literally has a hexagon form. This likely will have a reason when we close in on the mystery's solution. The Halloween costumes Wanda and Vision are wearing are their suits from the classic comics. Same goes for the rest of the family, including Quicksilver's costume and hairdo, although this also screamed Wolverine to me. Another thing was Hayward hinting at the world being disappointed with superheroes, as the 5 years of the blip, where half of the population vanished, were a dark time, and especially Captain Marvel leaving Earth seems to be a sore spot. This likely explains Monica's lukewarm reaction to the mentioning of said superhero last week. I guess that will be addressed in future shows and movies, especially in Captain Marvel 2. With the twins being featured more prominently this week, we have some allusions to twins in general, like the parent trap, playing at the movies, and the kids having the same powers as mom and her twin brother. The Parent Trap, which was also remade as It Takes Two, could be another nod to Elizabeth Olsen's sisters, the Olsen twins, who starred in that flick as well as in Full House, which was paid homage last week. And what happened to Quicksilver after Wanda hit him for his line, "It's not as if your dead husband can die twice." She was obviously punishing him for saying that in front of the twins, and as it bothered her, but will she kick him out? Was she realizing something about him in that moment? We will see. And the question on everyone's mind for next week is of course, what will become of Darcy? Is she also turning into a clown or circus artist? What will she remember? Will she gain powers in the future due to her cells being rewritten? I am curious. Last thing, and good segue before we look at the Easter eggs and theories from the net. What does Project Cataract mean? The file Darcy found on Hayward's server. I will try to find out. Unfortunately, nothing relevant ties cataract to a Marvel comic storyline. Besides wordplay, where a cataract is an area in an eye's lens that distorts vision, pun intended I guess, it just seems to validate Hayward being only interested in Vision's body. However, there was an interesting theory I found online and an Easter egg I like to share. The theory, as Wanda can only use people from Westview to make them her actors, she likely imprinted her memories of Pietro on someone in town, who just happened to look like the other Quicksilver. Which can't be strange as the X-Men universe doesn't exist in the MCU, so it was just a meta joke. Which is very close to a theory a friend told me recently. Hi Paul! So this theory would also suggest that Wanda, so far, has no idea she actually can rewrite reality, and Vision is still just a dead body, imprinted with her memory. Might be correct, we will see. I do like my theory better though. The Easter egg? In the episode they say kick-ass a few times, which of course reminded us of the superhero movie of the same title. I had no clue though what that illusion was supposed to tell me. But as it turned out, this is another meta joke, as Aaron Johnson, MCU's Quicksilver, is the lead actor in Kick-Ass, and Evan Peters, X-Men's Quicksilver, plays his friend. Nice. So much for the internet. Let's look at the rating. Again, another great episode. I liked it almost as much as last week's episode, but overall it fell a touch shy of that. I will rate this one 7.5 out of 10, being curious what the future holds. How did you like this one? What do you think will happen in the end? Let me know in the comments. That's it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, like it and feel free to share it with your friends. And why not subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any future video. Make sure to also hit the notification bell to get a heads up whenever a new video is posted. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching!